Peace out there to those in virtual reality land. It is the Culture Podcast. You got Furious, you got Luna, Flex, the producer, and he don't know I'm calling this, but we got Aquaman. We got Aquaman here tonight, Mr. Daniel Chambers, and we're not simply just talking about water safety, hot dog water, corn water. We're not going into all that. We're actually talking about water, and that's what we're gonna be dealing with on the Culture Podcast this evening. So we definitely hope you're coming to be informed, hopefully to learn something. And for those like myself who can't swim, maybe taught something new today. So we're going to start us off. Flex, hit us with that intro, sir.
I'm writing this, try not to cry. You stabilize my environment, inspired when you have my eye. My youth was consumed by vain beauty. Little did I know that vanity could masquerade the unruly. Coolly high love times, we reminisce, paint a vivid picture. Rush to come and lift her. Brethren, I don't want to see another sister get left up creek by another mister. Patience, no longer taking advantage of your innocence. Genetically superior, I had the vision is. Head ruled up my eye, I'm on my pilgrimage. History richer than the epic of Gilgamesh. We projected our broken worlds, made you a victim. Change the narrative, let us sit at your feet for wisdom. Pride, disrespect, I played my part. Now I apologize, cause deep down it hurt my heart. To the queens lost in the struggle, part of the chain gang. Brianna Taylor, Sandra Bland.
Never gets old, even after a year from its release.
Yeah, never gets old. It make you want to do this dance right here. But anyway, welcome everybody to the Culture Podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, and we're even on Mogul TV Global Network as well, y'all. So make sure y'all go ahead and download the Mogul TV Global Network app. It works so much better when you work with the app. So we want to make sure that we do a shout out to our partners. We love it. We love it. So listen, y'all, we got a 2-time in a row person. I feel like we starting to like you a little too much on the Floor is Yours podcast, but that means that we have something great coming out tonight. So listen, the reason why we brought this king here today, Mr. Ace Boom, right, is because it is time for us to start enjoying the summer. And with enjoying the summer comes with us being around pools, beaches, different water thing, lakes. And we want to make sure that you guys have the right knowledge to make sure that not just yourself, but your children and your families are safe. So I'm going to be quiet because I'm not the expert tonight. So Mr. Ace Boone, can you please tell us who you are and a little bit about what you do and why water safety is so important?
Thank you for having me, everybody. It's a humbling experience, and I'm grateful for the invite. In short, I am a licensed water instructor, a licensed lifeguard instructor, water safety instructor. I'm licensed in every aspect. Red Cross, our partnership with the YMCA of Fort Worth, our partnership with the Fort Worth Drowning Coalition, and I'm looking to further my brand as well. I own a nonprofit that I teach poverty-stricken areas water safety, how to enjoy the water safely, and so it won't be such a burden going around water, so we won't be walking on eggshells. I'm also certified in open water rescue, so I basically dedicated my efforts to water safety because we are basically at war with water. We're drowning at a ridiculous rate, and we don't have anybody at the table to speak up for us.
And when you say we, you're saying the Black community.
The Black community, absolutely.
Just to be specific,
yes.
Not alienating any other community, but you're saying the Black community see more deaths and accidents than any other.
Absolutely. The death rate is 64%. When we go around water, 64% of the time we're drowning. Natural waters. And we're going to get into it, but I've basically dedicated my life. Now I'm also a military veteran. I'll be getting out 13 years in October, if the good Lord says the same. But I've dedicated everything, every inch, every bone, my house, everything to teaching water safety. And like I said, I teach swimming lessons from sun up, sundown, talk water safety. I just do it all around water because we're down at a disproportionate rate.
Wow, man. It's one of those things you got to kind of take a deep breath because let's do this. And I know we already talked about this before, but I'm going to put everybody on the spot. Who on this call knows how to swim? Okay. So it's a 50-50, right? So what we want to make sure is, and what I want to even start out with this during tonight is, why do you think there are many of us that don't know how to swim? Is it because we just can't swim, or are there some other barriers to learning how to swim?
So I don't know how deep you want me to go, but I do have a short timeline that I can go through. I just take it back to segregation when swimming pools first started in the Northeast. They were in Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey. Those were the the playing fields, and they were actually swimming pools were brought to like the slums, like the projects, because they didn't have running water. So swimming pools were initially used to bathe, and like that was a thing. Like we were swimming way better than anybody than any other race because we were the ones in the slums. And so, long story short, segregation came, and after World War One, they said, "Hey, we don't want to swim with y'all," but it was our pools first. And so, in that time period, 1925, if I'm not mistaken, 1925 is when they started taking the pools out of the communities. It just started taking all the pools out of the community. So, if my great grandparents don't know how to swim, my grandparents don't know how to swim, my parents don't know how to swim, and you hear all these stories. Well, I was just thrown in the lake and I just made it out. Those are a lot of black stories or country stories. There's the wrong answer for one, and for two, like that's just how we did. So, I'll stop there with that little timeline, but I mean you can go back to slavery and us being on boats and just walking off what I'm saying. So it gets deep, but to answer your question, we don't have the resources and we don't have the pools, because every pool that you go to that's kept up is a country club or a YMCA or something that you have to pay to get into. And statistic is, if your household doesn't make $50,000, you're not going to have access to swimming lessons. So that's the answer to the question.
Some like going into the history, it gets deep, especially when you go back even further. And I guess that's kind of the major point as far as the disconnect in the community. Even when you go to Africa, go to Egypt, the story of primordial waters, life coming from water, our body being 70% water. And as much as water comprises and makes us up, the disconnect.
Yeah.
I remember third grade, we were doing the swimming lessons, and I remember being on the diving board just petrified. When I say like paralyzing petrification, that I just never jumped into it. And then kind of after that, I just stayed away from water. Up until now, my wife is a joke, but she'd tell you I'll get in the water and it's like I just become a cinder block and sink to the bottom. So like I'm kind of all ears open, as far as what are some things, to do, what are some things, for people that just can't seem to surpass that echelon to figure out, the swimming. That's kind of where I am along the way.
So first things first, you're going to have to overcome your fear by getting in the water and getting comfortable with it. And a lot of people, like my brother doesn't know how to swim. My blood brother, he does not know how to swim at all. He won't. I was thrown in the pool, I made it out. My brother was thrown in the pool, he almost drowned. So two different night and day worlds, same experience.
Yeah.
But like I told him, you have to get with somebody you're comfortable with, somebody that you trust. And because the water is water. It's going to do exactly what it's supposed to do. It's going to be water. And so you have to get with somebody you trust and take some lessons. Now you're going to have to invest in yourself because, that's a survival skill that you need. So I desperately ask you to invest in yourself, because the world is mostly water now.
Yeah.
You know, you get in one of these situations where you're just trying to enjoy yourself on a jet ski, or you're just trying to enjoy yourself on a boat, and the boat capsizes, flips over, or you know what I'm saying, whatever happens, catastrophic happens, you know, you got to be prepared for these things. And when you start thinking, you're out of here, you got to react. So first I would say get with somebody you trust, and take some nice swimming lessons. And there are programs through the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, inner city, in every city and state, where you can get a waiver and a grant to take swim lessons. So
Really?
so in every city, every state, and you have nonprofits out there like myself. They take donations. So whatever you have, because swimming lessons are expensive. I'm not gonna lie. Swimming lessons for grown-ups, 200, 250, $300. But
Really?
but you can get a grant from one of these nonprofits, and whatever you have, they'll say, give me what you got. You know, whatever you have, they do donations, and they'll give you swimming lessons. So at least you have that survival skill. But
So you talked about
give with
the
somebody you
price
trust.
of them, the cost of swimming lessons.
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like though? I mean, how long does it take? Can I learn in a couple days, or is it going to be a month, or what?
So swimming is something that you definitely have to practice it. It's like anything, like shooting, like a relationship, anything you have to, it takes practice. So what a good swim instructor will do, will get you comfortable with the water. So it's 6 stages. It's water acclimation, where you get comfortable with the water exploration, where you see what your body can do in water.
Hey,
And
before
then
you get too far, what do you mean get comfortable with the water?
so a lot of people are scared of the unknown. And so the only thing that's known about water is drowning. So, you know, when you say, man, you know, it's just he didn't want to jump in the water, it's because all he knew about water was drowning. So when you get acclimated, it's like when you go to another city and it's too hot or too cold, your body eventually gets acclimated to it. So the
Got
more you do it, the more, you know, you get um used to it.
you. Gotcha. Okay. And you were saying the other two. I didn't mean to cut you off on that.
Oh yeah. So it's 6 stages. So you got water acclimation, water exploration, and then you go into your strokes, where you start doing, your breaststroke, your butterfly, your front crawl, and then those are the water skills. And then 5 through 6 is stroke mechanics, where you start perfecting it. So like I said, it's definitely going to take some time, but the initial swimming lessons is to give you that skill set, and you can practice them on your own or purchase another set. So on average, a grown up, it takes them about a month to actually see results. Little kids, it's about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Teenagers, depending on if they stubborn or do and don't know how to swim, about 3 weeks to a month. So with practice, a grown man doing it on their own, actually passionate about swimming, it'll take about 3 weeks to a month.
Wow.
Wow, that's definitely interesting. And on the inside, I'm kind of laughing because I remember when our daughter was taking swim lessons, and if she kept continuing, it's like she grabs onto it so fast, you know. I do want to take a moment to shout out those people who are watching live. We got King James in the building. He's here for Ace Boom. He made that clear. And then we have Yee Yamonja is also in the building. And what we want to do is, if you guys have specific questions yourself when it comes to water safety, swimming, how to maintain your safety, or any of those things, please make sure that you let us know so that we can answer them in real time. We want to make sure that we engage with you guys, because it's all about you all. Now, as you were talking, there's a king that goes by the name of Mars that's on one of our other podcast shows. And he sent me this video. I want to say it was this morning. It was this young lady who was African American, and she was talking about how there's so many lakes in the United States that are not natural lakes.
Yes.
That on the bottom of the lakes are Black communities. And as you were talking, there is a list of over 15 lakes in the United States right now that if you go to the bottom, there are people, houses, schools, trees, and a bunch of other stuff that they literally flooded out these communities and created a man-made lake that now we go and we boat on and we fish and we have fun and we do vacations. Yes, Lake Lanier. Thank you. I was like, I know somebody gonna tell me which one it is. But as you were talking, what I was wondering is if we actually knew how to swim, how we could have fought our way to the top. But I was thinking, not in the sense of it could have saved everybody's life, but it just makes me wonder what difference could it have made if more of us had the knowledge or the skills to know how to swim. And it might not even be correlated, but it just made me think of how they could destroy our entire community by something that should have been natural, that is water, but now we're here and we're petrified to even kind of learn how to do it. And there's communities that's out here that is now covered with water, and it's like this recycling thing. And I wonder if that kind of played in some of our psyche as well, if we saw that, if we was around that. So I don't know what you have to say about that, but it just made me think of the many cities that are now underwater, and we're sitting here talking about water safety.
Well, I will say this on that. We are terrified of water because we don't know water like we should. And it's just like our history, you know, where we're just tired. As a community, as a Black community, we are tired. And like, you know, when fatigue sets in, you know, you get your different emotions, you get your frustrations and stuff like that. Like, we're just so tired. So even let's go back to slavery, when we were enslaved and we didn't want no parts of it. We knew that death was better than bondage. So we would walk off the ports and just drown, you know. We didn't, I mean, even if they did know how to swim, you know, the biggest graveyard is the Atlantic Ocean. So like we didn't care. So like I said, just going off that, like we're just tired of being, you know, like second class citizens and stuff like that. Like, it's really disproportionate rates that we're drowning is because we don't have it. They take everything away from us and say they'll give, and they'll give us a holiday instead of giving us a community center that looks like us and we have a swimming pool to use. So
this is a question for Luna. Thinking from the psychology standpoint, you know, could that something that could be passed down just because the history of what we went through? You know, could that be something that affects us today?
Absolutely. So in our community, we really struggle with our identity. We struggle with who we are. We struggle with how to even navigate life and spaces because we were always told how to move, how to shift, how to shake, how to be. So if, again, when Ace was talking about how your grandparent didn't know how to swim, which means your parent didn't know how to swim, which means you didn't know how to swim, right? So when we're, hold on, I can.
Hey, you got your I think that's Ace.
Okay, we good? There we go. But when we have these things that are passed down and nobody really talks about it, this is the whole reason why the Culture Podcast exists, is because there's so many things in our community that we're just not talking about. And as much as we created this platform to be kind of fun and, you know, light like we are, we realized that we needed to make sure that, you know, we need to have these serious conversations and provide education so we can stop the stigma, so we can stop the fears of just different things in our community that nobody else is really talking about. You know, I didn't know there was a such thing as water safety. I just know that when I grew up, my dad knew how to swim and he made sure me and my brother knew how to swim. I didn't know anything else outside of that because my dad knew how to. But my mom didn't know how to, and her mom didn't know how to. And that, like, it was a generational thing passed down. So I think psychologically as a people, and this is going to be kind of oxymoronish, I'm just going to give it out there. Sometimes it got to get to a point where we stop focusing so much on the past and trying to change that and focus on what we can do right now to make the generations after us so much more prepared and better. And that's why with this question here, and before I get to it, I want to caveat that I just want to make sure that since we're midway, you guys make sure you like, share, subscribe. Again, we're on YouTube. We're here on Facebook. And we're on the Mogul TV Global Network as well. Make sure you connect with us. And if you want to be on our show, we're all about education. So if you have an expertise or something that you specialize in that our Black community could benefit from, then that is what this is for. But as I caveat this, we have someone who asked the question, how can I teach my kid to be an Olympic caliber swimmer in like 2 to 3 hours? So I wanted to caveat that because it does, as funny as it may be, because we just said you can't do 2-3 hours, but it's one of those things where I can tell that there's someone out there that want to make sure that their kid is better off than what some other people are. So how would you answer that question, Ace? How can they teach their kid to be an Olympian in 2 to 3 hours?
I'm not gonna say it's impossible because the only thing that's possible is it hasn't been done yet. But I will say that 2 or 3 hours is gonna be tough, and they're gonna have to train with Olympians. But you might have a super child or something, so I'm not gonna knock you, but it's gonna be tough.
That's the best of the best.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I remember, again, I always kind of go back to growing up. Me and my best friend, we used to have this cliche saying, because neither one of us could swim. So we would say, yeah, please don't laugh. We would say our tribe was from the middle of Africa where there was no water. So we ran everywhere. That's what he used to say. Yeah. So like, and I guess now it being 32, it's like the cliches that we used in order to cover up the things that we couldn't do. Like, I'll give you this. I didn't learn to ride a bike till I was 17 years old. You know, and it, you know, seeing how I grew up, again, the lack of opportunity, the lack of resources, I'm realizing now, had I probably been around water, because I don't believe my mother nor father could swim. I've never seen them swim. You know, I've never seen my grandparents swim. So, you know, and kind of seeing that, it's like, wow, like we're so far behind. And of course, it's ways to be caught up, but it's like when you don't really realize how far behind you are until you have discussions like this, till you have kids, and it's like, man, if something happens, what am I going to do? Like, my wife is the only one that can swim. So yeah, it's very real. We got another comment that came up. 38 still terrified. Need adult swimming lessons. I'm right there with you. Don't be embarrassed. The key, I would put it this way. Only way to be embarrassed is to never admit that you need the help.
Listen, and that's a word. Like, we have to understand, you know, change does not happen until we hate how it makes us feel. So when you are going to these pools or you are around beach, like, for example, I can swim my behind off, but about 2 weeks ago, I did kayaking with dolphins, right? And I'm sitting out here. I never did kayaking before at all. So I'm sitting here, we kayaking, and they said, look, the wind is very rough. Stay close to the shore. But I was with a group of people. The people in front of me, thank God we had on life vests, their boat tumbled over. So now me and my person is Captain Saberho trying to make sure that they good. So we go get them. Before we know it, they're getting close to the shore, and the wind then pushed us all the way out. When I tell you I freaked out, but the only saving grace I really had is the fact that I knew that if I did fall over, I could swim. Yeah. And I was going to swim my behind back to the shore. Yeah. But I share that to say sometimes you got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations that you don't really know until you are comfortable. And I think that is something that is really, really important about this session. But what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick commercial break so we can give y'all some time. And if y'all have questions, please make sure you send them in so that we can answer them real time. So thank y'all for vibing with us.
G-Rollin is a notch above the rest because its ownership is reachable and relatable. Not only is the quality of our brand along the lines of Raw and Zigzag, but our customer service is bar none. So while supplies last, get your limited edition original packaging booklet with a personalized message scribed from myself with the order of 3 or more. It's a way to take a piece of history with you. So allow me to leave my charisma and character in time for you. God bless.
Yeah, so G Rolling Papers. I have an opportunity. I actually have my original packaging. I have about 50 of those booklets left. With a purchase of 3 or more, you can go straight to the Shopify, g-rollingpaper-papers-llc.myshopify.com. Place your order. We got shipping, we got delivery, we got all that. So in those booklets comes a personalized message, whether that be history, whether that be some type of wisdom, something straight from the owner of G Rolling Papers themselves. So I love to be a part of that journey with you. And the customer service is bar none. So place your orders, and I love to serve you. Peace. Yes.
Thank you. Thank
Right
you.
on, right on.
Furious Styles doing your thug thizzle. Y'all make sure y'all get you some G Rolling Papers. The cool part about it is unbleached heat hemp. Look, I'm all over the place. Unbleached hemp rolling papers with 0 carcinogens in it. So if you are someone who utilize whatever herb of choice that you have, it's going to make sure that it still is in a healthy way. Because a lot of the times the other rolling papers are made with tobacco, no slight to any of that. So it's kind of counterproductive to what you're trying to do. So he wanted to make sure that he had it in a healthy way. So make sure y'all get you some G Rolling Papers. Now, jumping back into this discussion, we have so many questions for you, Mr. Ace. So I see one of the questions is, what type of lessons do you offer? And are those lessons for all ages? Do you teach experienced swimmers? Like, tell the people what type of services does your nonprofit offer your community?
So, in short, my nonprofit, to answer the question flat out, I teach classes from 3 months to 100. Whoever wants to learn how to swim, and if the if you can't purchase swimming lessons, which is understandable, I just do donations, whatever you have. I'm one of the nonprofits that we work on donations, and the donations is just so after you finish my swimming lessons, you get free goggles and a free life jacket. And so that's where the donations go to. But I have a mommy and me class for toddlers up to 2 years old, 6 months to 2 years old, and it's basically getting them acclimated to the water, getting them used to the water, getting them to kick in their natural um, animalistic things that we're supposed to do, hold our breath underwater and stuff like that. And then two two to was it 2 to 6 is actually swimming, is actually trying to get them learn strokes and push off the wall and their breathing, body control, body position. And then after that, that's when we work on your stroke mechanics, your dolphin fins, when you pull your hands out of the water, when you scrape the water with your fingertips, and like just going into a lot of in the weeds of what I do. But I teach all ages. I teach all ages, and experienced swimmers, they can also get a piece too. So I am a top-notch lifeguard. That's my thing. That's my claim to fame. I got a niche for teaching lifeguards because I care about our community having lifeguards that look like us.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone can benefit from us being in our community. And that goes for police, that goes for doctors, that goes for like anybody of a public servant that's in our neighborhood should look like us. So that's why I got my niche. And um, being a trainer in the military, being a trainer, like my gift is teaching, and my vernacular and my articulation. That's just what I do. So I can train anybody. I can train anything. In my opinion, I'm the best trainer there is to
Right
walk.
on. Hey, so quick question for you: is there one style that's easier to teach or to learn than another?
I would say front crawl. Front crawl is one of your faster strokes. That's why you see Michael Phelps and you see them front crawl. And you start off with a doggy paddle. Everybody is familiar with the doggy paddle, but that's how you start off. And then as you get your body positioning and your body movements down, you start going into your front crawl with your head in the water and just get more. It's all about being comfortable, comfortability. And once you start doggy paddling, you get your, confidence going. You start putting your head in the water, and the front crawl is the fastest stroke. The strongest stroke is the breast stroke, and I can tow whatever. If I get a line and hook it to myself, I can tow anything with a breaststroke.
Yeah.
Yo, we have the coolest audience tonight. Again, we're gonna do a shout out to King James. We even got Marcus Johnson up here. We got Yee your Moja up here, and she's asking, "What's your social media?" And one of your friends let her know, but I want to give you the opportunity because people want to know how to work with you. So, what is your social media platform that people can reach out to you? And then another piece that they asked was, how can, and I love this question, how can I save a life if I don't know how to swim?
So first off, my nonprofit is one of many businesses that I have. I have about 6 businesses, but Chamber Services LLC on Instagram. That's my social media. Um, you can pretty much inbox me, message me, whatever there is on there. I have a website coming soon. Um, like I said, I'm getting this ball rolling, and like I'm definitely gonna put out more brochures and commercials and stuff. So just bear with me. But right now it's Instagram at Chamber Services LLC.
Chamber Service, and we'll make sure we get that from you so we can
Okay.
share it with our audience so to plug it in so everybody can reach out to you. So this question right here: if we can't swim, how can we help save a life?
So that's one of the classes I teach. It's called Safety Around Water or Water Safety. In short, um, if you can't swim, you know, the worst thing to do is jump in. Don't we don't have money to bury one of us. We're not gonna bury both of us. So um any body of water, it should have the ring buoy, which is a circle with a rope on it. You have a it's called a J hook. It's a big pole, wooden pole with a hook. And also you can just throw anything that floats. So in short, if you're at a pool enjoying your time and somebody's drowning and you can't swim, you find a ring buoy. If you're on a boat, if you're on any bodies of water, there has to be a ring buoy on it, or OSHA's gonna shut them down. But that ring buoy saves life. You simply get the ring buoy, get the slack, throw it past them, and pull them in. And you lay down to pull them in, because if you stand up, their body weight's gonna pull you in. So so with the J hook, if anything electrical, chemical, anything happens, you don't need to touch them. You put the J hook out there. It's about 12 foot. You put it out there. It's wooden, and you reel them in. You just pull them in, and like I said, you always lay on your stomach when you're trying to pull somebody, reel somebody in.
And I'm sure you'll agree with this. Even before that, if we're out there, especially those that can't swim, and we talked about this before the show, they need a life jacket on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Life jackets, life jackets can save your life. Uh, 3 or 4 times, man. 84% of the 84% of the deaths, people don't have life jackets on. 40, 42% of those deaths are at swimming pools. So you increase your life times 2 by just wearing a life jacket at any body of water. And like I said, that's one of my things that my nonprofit does. We give out life jackets and we teach people how to wear them. You know, people like to have life jackets for their 2-year-old and 2-year-old child, and then when they're 4, try to make them wear the same one. No, no, that life jacket will easily come off of them because they can't fit it. So make sure your life jackets fit. Make sure you have the right one. And if you need help, like local Coast Guard office, the local YMCA, they all are nonprofits. I mean, they are not nonprofits, but they're all entities that are here to help you stay alive.
Yeah, that's
As
good.
you were talking, it made me think about, how us as a people keep up our outer appearance so that it can decrease the ability of other stigma, of other rejection, or other bad experiences. So what would you say to someone who don't wear a life jacket because it don't fit the fashion statement? Like I really, and I know that may sound very crazy, but as I'm hearing you talking, I've never been to a pool party where anybody got on a life jacket. So how can we change that story so that we understand how important it really is to purchase life jackets and have it at different entities when we have a pool of water around us or a body of water?
So we buy insurance and we pay insurance and never wreck. We get insurance just in case that happens.
Yeah.
That's how a life jacket is. A life jacket is, like I said, it can save your life 3 or 4 times in one setting. Um, I would encourage people to not look at, you know, fashion or not look at, the status quo, what's going on in the world, and focus on their actual life. You know, a lot of people don't wear seatbelts. A lot of people do wear seatbelts, and we all know the outcome if you have a wreck, what a seatbelt can do for you. So if you get in a situation in a natural body of water, and if you don't know, for the audience, the natural bodies of water, they have currents under them. There is not just what's up top. If the water's moving up top, under it's times 4, sometimes times 10, and one of those riptides catch you, you're gone if you don't have a life jacket.
That's a wrap.
So, like, because Michael Phelps is not swimming against 30-mile-an-hour tides. Like, you can give it up, and that's ways to survive. But that goes into a whole nother conversation. But think about your life, and don't play with it. Life is very, very precious, and it's cool now, but you get in a situation, you're gonna be screaming and begging for somebody to help you. So,
my man, first I want to say, shout out to our audience. The reason we want to lift y'all up the way we're doing today. When I say I'm a super student right now, so it's not that I don't have much input, but I'm learning. Like, this is something that's needed, something that's necessary, and I'm grateful for it. We do have another question for you though. So, what is second drowning, and how often does this happen? What are the stats to your knowledge?
So when you first go underwater, you drown. Like that's when the water is stuck between your lungs and your throat, where you can't get air out. You're drowning. Second drowning is when you go unconscious, and I don't have the stat on hand, but I'll have it after we come back from commercial. But that's when you go unconscious, and then now he's starting to be brain dead. And like I said, I don't have the stat, but I vaguely remember one, but I don't want to give you any incorrect information. Um, but and the cues for second drowning. I mean, when you're underwater, you're underwater. Like, what my job is to do is to train lifeguards to be proactive and not reactive. So we're trying to keep you from first drowning, let alone second drowning. So that's a great question. Like I said, I will have the stats for you right after the commercial.
And today, what my role is to talk or dismantle some of the mental health things that may keep us, or the mental chatter that we have that may keep us from following water safety. So just from experience, because I love water, I love being around water, but I've seen it where, especially in our community, we get offended when lifeguards are telling us, don't go too far, or don't run around this, or don't do that. And what I do want to tell our community is we are no longer in slavery. So there's no slave master telling us what to do, what we don't want to do. So I feel like we need to sometimes lessen some of the harshness that we have. And trust me, I get it. We have been oppressed. We have been abused. We have been rejected. We have had all those things. But some of the experience that we have, if we just listen, and I'm the one that's going to be real with us. If we just listened, then nothing will happen. I'll give you an example. We have not taken our kids back to the pool because last year they had one rule and one rule only. keep your head above the water because you're learning how to swim. We had their floaties, they had life vests on, they had the little booty things that you put on, but they kept putting their head underneath the water so much so my daughter inhaled the water and then now she's freaking out. And I told her, I said, until y'all can listen, you're not going to get in the water, you know. And as crazy as that sound, I feel like as the parents, when it comes to the kids, really being able to know the knowledge. So if you can do, maybe, I don't know if you do water safety virtually and we can possibly host something like that for the Floor is Yours podcast audience members, I think that would be great. So then when we're telling our kids, we know that it's coming from a place of information and not out of a place of control. So when that lifeguard says no running, is because this is happening. Or if you're on a beach and they tell you, look, it's a red flag, don't nobody get in the water. We listen and we don't get in the water. So I just want to speak to the us that sometimes have a hard time listening to other people because we think people are trying to take advantage when they're really trying to keep us safe. So I do want to go to this question here. That I think kind of go into it as well. It says, okay, so if we have smaller children that we're not really comfortable getting them in the water, what steps can we use to get them acclimated, like you said, in the shallow end? So like for that parent that's not comfortable already, how do you get those parents involved with their kid?
So that's the Mommy and Me class I teach. It's 2 or 3 parents, not just mommies, but it goes over better saying Mommy and Me. But in short, you know, if you're by yourself and you want to, these are like homework assignments we give our mommies, and these are, I think, ages 6 months to 2-3 ish, depending on how mature they are in the water. We tell them to get a towel and put water on their forehead, let it run down their nose. So naturally, a child is going to drink the water. And we say, hey, hold the bubble, and they hold the bubble. And so now, they can't drown if water doesn't get in their system. And so those are some of the things that we teach the smaller kids in the Mommy and Me class and teach the parents. And so when they get home, you can practice that in the sink. You can practice that in the bathtub. You can practice that, anywhere. And that's a water safety tool that now I know this child is not going to breathe in water, big kicks, the bubbles, the blowing bubbles, just getting them acclimated with water in their eyes or in their ears. Because children, they don't mind putting their head in water, getting their eyes open, blowing bubbles, whatever. It's the ears. That's the biggest problem. Like, they do not want water in their ears. And so instead of putting their whole head underwater, it's put the back of their head in the water, where you have your mouth and your nose out, but the water's in your ears. Or put their front in water, where your eyes and your nose and your mouth is in, but your ears are out. So those little things, those little nuances, they change a child's whole experience with water. And those are some of the things that, anybody in the audience can do with their child at home.
Yeah. Man. Before we go to this commercial break, I must be like a 3-year-old that's in a 32-year-old body, because that's the issue that I have. Is like, I lean back, and once that water get in the ears, like I pop, right, like reflexingly pop up. So it's like training to get used of the feeling, because I know it's going to happen. But yes, we're going to take a few moments, pay some bills, as they say back in the old day. We got another commercial for you. We'll be right back with more from the Culture Podcast.
All right.
M Green Enterprises, LLC, the home of Malabra Green, your confidence coach. Malabra Green is a licensed clinical social worker who serves as a psychotherapist, Reiki master, and transformative speaker. She is striving to provide the world with preventative services to lower the number of individuals in mental health facilities while helping people grow from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Malabra is ready to help the humans of the world find their best selves. Please be sure to check out www.malabratransforms.com, because Malabra is ready to transform with you. All right, y'all. So again, Malabra transforms with you. Listen, as we're talking about tonight's show, a lot of it, as I'm hearing, it goes to confidence. Fear is when you lack confidence in your ability to be safe, and your ability to be seen, and your ability to be taken care of and protected. So I would love to be someone to build your confidence. I have my metamorphosis experience that is specifically for that, where we strip down what the world says you are and you step out with who you are. And I give you some hands-on, tangible, practical questions. I know some of my men didn't like my questions for real, but now I'm playing. They liked it.
I love it.
But I wanted to make sure that whatever I'm providing is because when Miss USA jumped off the building, I could feel her why. And I know that there's so many more Miss USAs that from the outside looking in, it seems as if you are good because you are the CEO, you are the caregiver, you're the one that always has it together, you're the one that's thriving, but at the same time, you're dying on the inside. So I want to be able to be CPR to your goals where you feel like you're physically drowning. So that is what I do. I'm very, very grateful that I'm able to serve you guys. So if you want to check me out, www.malaratransforms.com. And at the end of the show, I'm going to tell you about a wellness event that I have coming up that is really beneficial. So I want to make sure that you guys remember to like, subscribe, and share. We are on YouTube. We are up here on Facebook. And then make sure you also follow Mogul TV Global Network, which we are in partnership with, and download the app, the Mogul TV Global app. It allows for you to check out some of the shows. Our Greenhouse podcast is the one that has premiered up there, where we have our main host, Mars, Flex, the producer, of course, and Madam Ladybug. They are making sure that we are out there in the community, really changing. One thing about the Floor is Yours podcast is that it has allowed for us to create a platform where you're just not entertained, but you are educated. And when you are educated and you have knowledge, then you can change. So Ace Boom, as we're talking about education, knowledge, and changing, what have you seen happen as a result of people gaining your education? Like, what are some reviews or things that you hear from your clients that take your services?
So one of my big things is like I said, I'm a lifeguard instructor, so I train all the lifeguards. I just partnership with the YMCA of Fort Worth, and I just started training their lifeguards, and I'll start doing in services and doing their trainings weekly. But to answer your question is like I'm not a happy-go-lucky trainer. I don't even try to play around with because this is serious to me.
Mhm.
So I might come off as brash or not the most um, nice guy, but everybody that takes anything from me, educational wise, they know I mean it, and it's coming from a place of endearment. And so my lifeguards, they love me. They love my style. I'm very, very organized, and I'm very intentional in all of my actions. Like I won't have you do anything for no reason without purpose. And those are my lifeguards. They love it. And I train lifeguards through Ellis, Red Cross, and the YMCA. And so, like I said, I haven't had one complaint. And the head honcho can vouch for me and my statistics. All my lifeguards are very square. My swim lessons, my swim lessons, I am very empathetic and sympathetic with all walks of life. Um, and teaching is my thing. That's my niche. That's my gift from the heavens. And I've always been able to articulate and get a message across or how you would like for me to do. The only person it's hard getting through to is my son. So um, everyone else they love it. They love it. Like I said, my 4-year-old swims. My 2-year-old, so like everyone is a swimmer. And so, like I said, when you come, like my mama and me classes are um, very personal, and we get to know each other and the kids and stuff like that. And those are very, 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 those are very, very inspirational for me because I know that we won't have these conversations going forward because I'll have a hand in lowering these death tolls, lowering these statistics, lowering these what's everything.
Cool.
Dude, my man's. Um, so as Luna stated, not only are we dealing with information, education, entertainment, It's a culmination of all that. So I call it edutainment. Yeah, I like that edutainment.
Education. Okay.
So with your diverse background, you've seen the world. What would you say has been the most beautiful body of water that you have seen in your experience?
In my experience, the most beautiful body of water. Let's see. I'm gonna go with the Gulf of Mexico, and it's because I know exactly what salt and fresh water is, and I can appreciate both of them. But when they touch, and they have the Milky Way going right through the middle, so fresh water and salt water when they touch, there's a white stream. It looks like milk that goes through it, and it's just a crazy science that nobody can explain. And I've been jet skiing. I've drove rescue boats. I've done the whole nine, an open water rescue in the Gulf of Mexico. And 2014, I spent 4th of July down there, and it was just a beautiful sight to see. The Dead Sea is second, but Gulf of Mexico is.
We went to Jamaica a couple years back, and for the first time ever, I saw my feet in the water. Now, where we from? Hampton Roads, Virginia, Chesapeake Bay. The water looks like a 40 ounce.
Yeah.
It looks just, you can't even see the bottom. It looks like a 40 ounce.
I've been to Richmond Beach, so I'm
So to be able to go to another country and then see that type of water and like, wow, like it's not just on TV. You never know. That might be a reason too why some people can't swim is some people don't even trust the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
And I will say, as you were talking, it made me think about there's a concept in therapy that we talk about, which is exposure therapy. And what it is I'm going to expose you gradually. So just like the technique that you said, like kind of putting the water down the face, for those people who are completely petrified, you can do things like looking at a picture of a body of water or YouTubing the most beautiful ocean so that you can get a different visual of what water is and look at the beauty of it, study the wildlife that's underneath it. So then when you do get in the water, you've already been exposed. So now your mind is comfortable with it. So when your body hits it, there's a level of comfort. So that is another way that people can kind of get over that fear, is gradually exposing themselves to the water. So if you don't take baths because you're afraid you're going to drown, I don't know how if you're over 5 feet, but get in the bathtub, take a shower. And I know people can drown in the bathtub too, but for the purpose of kind of the visual, is just being able to do things gradually. So that's for anything, even if it's not just water, but in life, if you have a massive fear, you can start with what's not real, embrace that, look at that picture. And then now from that picture, now I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy a little kiddie pool. Then I'm going to it's literally different steps. So as you were talking, it's finding the beauty in the water. So then you can kind of lower your guard and really increase your ability to just soften, the guard that you have when it comes to the water.
Absolutely. To caveat on what you said real quick, I teach my kids and my nieces and nephews and anybody that's around me that exposure leads to expansion. So once you're exposed to something that's foreign to you, your mind expands and you start thinking about everything that embodies that experience. And the more exposure you have, the more expanded your brain will be. So you won't be sitting here and everybody's like straight shooting stuff and one size fits all. You'll be able to come from a place of understanding more so than if you didn't experience it. So.
Oh man, this has been such an amazing conversation. I'm so grateful that you told us yes to be on the Culture Podcast, because I'm telling you, this conversation alone is going to save people's lives.
Absolutely.
And it even makes me realize, I got to get out of my fear, because I haven't let my kids touch a pool because of our one experience that we had. So I got to kind of work through that myself and let them do like lessons and things. But we have a YMCA here and stuff like that. And my daughter loves it. She asked to go. So for me, I'm walking away with, as a mother, I can't allow for old past situations to keep them from learning a skill that will one day, when I'm not around them, is going to save their lives. So
A quick question for you before we go. Do you mainly do group sessions or do you also do one-on-one?
So I steer away from group lessons because, like I said, the money is good, but I am very intentional with my intentions. Um, so I would take 4 people instead of 10
Mhm.
because I want you to get an absolute experience and you won't leave thinking, was my money well spent? I do group lessons, but like I said, my ratio is a 1 to 4, and the other people, the other entities, their ratio is 1 to 10. And
Hmm.
so, like, I do group lessons. I do discounted lessons, and we can talk offline. But one of my rules with my Chambers Aquatics is with the swimming lessons, water safety, anything. If they're in our network, then they're in our network. We're gonna work out a price. It's not, we're gonna work out a good price if they're in our network. Now,
You dope, bro. That's dope.
I'm
And,
so excited.
but
Yes.
and
but
one
I
more thing too, from I know you from when we met, man. You also believe strongly in water aerobics, right?
absolutely, absolutely. I believe that water aerobics will change. I've been doing water aerobics for about 7, 8 years now. How old am I? Since I was about 24. Um, the military tore my body down. You can't put an elephant next to a cheetah and expect it to get the same results. And the military just tore me down, and I had to find a way to stay in shape and still be able to perform my duties. And I just latched on to swimming even more as a cardio and water aerobics. Like this 86-year-old man, he was like, grab that water weight. I was doing physical therapy in the pool, and he said, grab that water weight. And I was like, I work out, water weight. And he kicked my butt for about 30 minutes with a one water weight. And
Yeah.
it's low impact. You burn more calories because your whole body is using it. And you're not tired. You can go a full day after, doing an hour session of water aerobics. So
Brilliant.
you've never heard of any swimming athlete. You've never heard them have any major injuries. Just think about that.
Oh wow, man.
Wow.
Hmm.
Man, tonight has been such an amazing show. Again, just reminder, if you love what you saw tonight, please make sure you share. Please make sure you like, you subscribe. We're on YouTube, we're up here, Mogul TV Global Network as well. And to our amazing audience that was watching live tonight, we really appreciate it. And those of you who are watching the replay, we want to make sure that we're going to go through the comments and answer them as quickly as we can, and we'll make sure that we connect you with Mr. Ace Bloom himself. But before we even close out tonight and talk about what things we have coming up, what are the takeaways that we're going home with after today's discussion?
Can I?
Mhm.
Well, first and foremost, it is a necessary skill that we're all capable of, but fear, for the most part, is what keeps us from doing it. So being able to overcome that fear, you'll then find yourself fulfilling one of your naturally able body performances. I don't know if that's the word. And then the last thing is, I'm no longer just debating on whether to get Dasani or Deer Park.
What? And see, y'all, listen, I be trying to tell y'all for real, for real. It was this running joke with my mother-in-law. I said, I don't know if she's crazier because she had him, or am I crazier because I married him and I did it twice, not just one time. But because I'm talking, the thing that I'm walking away from tonight, that it is okay to push your family members who cannot swim, but be empathetic and be sympathetic. So, like, up until this conversation, I didn't realize how important it is, as the only person in my house that can comfortably swim, to make sure that everybody else in my home has the same skills and techniques. So then again, my kids aren't going to always be in my home. You know, him and I aren't going to always be around each other. And I think I'm walking away with not necessarily pressure on my shoulders, but more like, hey, you know, the same way you go work out and you eat good, or, you know, you go, you do all these other things, your family having water safety and swimming skills and knowing how to swim is even more imperative. So I thank you for allowing that to know, like, that is a must, that is a need, because we never know where we're going to find ourselves, and we love a good time. So sometimes that good time includes a boat. And if that boat tote like Titanic, then baby, you got to learn what to do. So that's what I'm walking away with. What about you, Flex? Because I want to make sure we close out with Mr. Ace Boom and some stats to give the people one last good hoorah of what to do when it comes to water safety.
Yeah, a couple things. I like, Luna, how you took what he talked about and related to just other life lessons, right? How to tackle those things that we fear. So that was good information. But the other piece is I love the water. I can't swim like at all. I learned as I was learning, I had a knee injury, and everything that I learned just took it away. But I love the water. I parasail, I jet ski. But one thing that I do is I wear that life vest what Ace talked about, and it works. I remember me and my daughter a few years back. We were in the middle of Lake Louisville here in Dallas. It's Big Lake if you know about it. But we jet skiing, and I was having me a hallelujah time right at the end, and I'm doing donuts and spinning, and that joker flipped, and there I went right in the water. And the life vest did what it was supposed to do. You know, I didn't even panic, you know, because I know that they work, but just encouraging people don't and Luna, you talked about this earlier, you know, wear that vest if you can. I'm telling you, it's worth it. It works, and yeah, just that. And appreciate you, Ace, man. It was great information, man, and I kick this to you.
Grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I so just a little quick little statement. I'm certifying my son right now as a junior lifeguard. He's 12 going on 13, and he's a very strong swimmer. His technique is a little off, but he's a very, very strong swimmer. And I'm super proud of him because from where he came from and him just sticking with me and not giving up. Like, I'm very tough, and you can ask anybody that knows me. I'm a very tough trainer, and he's sticking it out. But he's being a junior lifeguard, and the reason why I'm training him to be a junior lifeguard not only is to give him a skill set that he can go make money with on his own freelance lifeguarding, but if daddy is not there in any shape, form, or fashion, and something happens to your little sisters or your big sister or mom or anybody, I need you to act like you're me. And you can swim for yourself very strong, but this life is not about what you can do for yourself, it's what you can do for others. So like I said, my son is doing an amazing job. I just want to throw that out there because we did a session today and he's probably in his room crying, but it's all gonna be for the best. It's all gonna be for the best. But um, I want to throw some statistics out there just to, we had a very, very good conversation. We had a very chippy conversation, but the dark reality is that we are losing lives to water, and it's preventable. Drowning is preventable. And I'll say that again, drowning is preventable. So I wrote down some stats that I really, really want to get out there to the public. And drowning is the leading causes of death to children. It's the leading cause. Children from 1 to 4, they die in home swimming pools. They walk out their back door, go through the doggy door, and they're missing, and they're in the pool. And there is it's you could be washing your hands from using the restroom, washing dishes, anything, and as soon as you start wondering, they're in the pool. Like it's the harsh reality that we do have here. And for every child that dies in the pool, 5 children receive medical attention of this not lethal. So for every child that does drown, 5 children that day or that week were pulled out the pool and resuscitated. if these children under like 1 years old to 1.5, like 18 months, they're dying in these bathtubs. Parents are putting them in the bathtubs, letting them do what they want to do, and not even checking in on them. And I'm getting all my statistics from the Center of Disease, Cook's Children, Control Prevention, and Consumer Product Safety. And so, like I said, I am a very, very serious person when it comes to water safety. And I will joke and be empathetic, but when it comes to me and you being safe, me and you being able to talk to an audience, me, you being able to go back to our children, this hits home for me. And like uh like Flex knows, I fought wars for my country that I was made to fight. Now I'm fighting a war against water with my people. So that's all I got for y'all. And I appreciate
Good
everything.
deal, bro. Good deal.
Oh,
Bro.
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
And one last thing I want to speak to for those people who do save lives, that do jump in and pull people out, make sure you get the support that you need.
Absolutely.
I don't remember it was last year or the year before last, but all my family was in my aunt's pool, and my aunt, who knows how to swim but knew that she didn't know how to swim very well, she had this floaty. But the way that the pool was, it was a straight jump. So it went from I can stand to I can't stand.
Yeah.
And before we knew it, she was in the I can't stand part, and everybody else thought she was playing, but she was going down. And I had to jump in to get her, pull her out. And it was the scariest thing because it was other people who knew how to swim. You thought she was playing and things like that. So I would just say, just make sure that if you are someone who's out here saving lives, whether it's a lifeguard or as a freak accident and you're with your family, make sure you process that. Because as we're talking about this, those feelings are arriving for me when I had to jump in and save her. And I didn't even think about it because I was just like, hey, I'm just swimming. We went about our business. Everybody kept going with the cookout. We was good. So I just want to make sure for those of you who do know how to swim and you do somewhat take on that burden, that if something happens, you are the one jumping in and you are the one helping. Make sure that you process that, because that's going to be very, very important, because you don't want for that moment to keep you from using your skills, which can be another detriment. So I want us to be sure to end with talking about what we have going on, what we have coming up. So I'll start with myself. I know with me, I have the Be Well conference that I'm hosting with Vision Driven 757, which is a local nonprofit in the Hampton Roads area. And we're doing back to school a little bit different. It's great for us to give you book bags and supplies. However, what ends up happening is people will come to like a wellness fair, but then they'll walk away with no service. So in real time, we're going to have therapists, life coaches. We have someone there that's going to be doing manicures. We're trying to secure a dentist, a physician. We want in real time for you to get all the services that you need. So when the schools open up, both the children and the parents have all the key players, and you walk away with your first official appointment. So we're doing in live 20-minute therapy session. So if you can't afford it, they're free. We're going to make sure that we do that. If you are a dentist or a physician in the Hampton Roads area that want to help us out, please reach out to us at visiondriven757@gmail.com. It's going to be at the YMCA in Portsmouth on High Street on August the 13th from 2 to 5. We want to do some things fun. So if you are a face painter or can do some type of entertainment, we're open to that as well. But we're really trying to do something different in our community. We want to go from talking and displaying to actually practical things and doing things with you. So that's what I have coming up. That is super huge. So if you want to be a part of that, let us know. And you can donate at Vision Driven 757 on Cash App so that we can make this thing happen, because the more we have, the more people that we can serve. And we want to do about 200 book bags. So that means 200 of everything to go to our communities and our families. So that's what I got going up. What about
Can you real quick, can you make sure we put that Cash App?
The Cash App.
Cash App and the flyer, yeah, on the page. So.
Yep, I can make sure I post that after this session.
Peace. For myself, it's summer break, but no, with it being summer break, it is allowing me to focus on being an entrepreneur. So I have G rolling papers. Those are still available, still going out. No cancer causing agents, easy to roll with. And it's a good price. It's a compatible pricing, right on line with your raws, your zigzags, name it. The quality is bar none. It's right there with it. So that's available on Instagram, Facebook, has its own website. Reach out to me and we'll be able to get that to you. Also have the Rasta Master LP under the name Furious Styles. Excellent music. That joint is banging, is rocking, is on the cover playlist, so on and so forth. So make sure you stream that, available on all platforms. And then again, life coaching. There's a few different things that I have going up that's coming into the works. Is a new me. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So that's what I got going on. And we're continuing to just reinvent ourselves throughout the summer.
Okay. What about you, Ace Boone? What you got coming up? Anything that people can register for?
I don't have anything at the moment, but I do want to shout out some businesses that helped deliver some of my free swimming lessons. I got Benevolent Hearts Childcare here in Fort Worth, King James Studio out in Atlanta, Hopkins Credit out in Atlanta as well, and Forgotten South Gaming. They all donated. They either donated time or money in order for me to get some of these children or some of these people or entities, lifeguards and stuff trained, whether it was, uniforms or them come and help out, with the session, setting up stuff, this, that, and the third. So I had to just give a big shout out to those businesses because, without them, without the donations, this stuff doesn't happen. So I'm very, very grateful.
Dope. What about you, Flex? Anything coming up for you, King?
Yeah, all things the Floor is Yours podcast. So I appreciate y'all constantly shouting us out. But I want to tell everybody right now, stop what you're doing. Like it. Don't like it later. You'll like it later if you don't like it now. But if you will, like it right now. And we got something special. I know on this next show, which is what we do. Are we going in 2 weeks or are we going to get back on schedule? Okay, in 2 weeks, what we're going to do, we're going to give $100 away from somebody who likes the show. And I just looked at the last like. So going from here, well, today on forward, we're going to pick somebody to win $100. And we know, tell us some of the things we can do with $100, Furious.
Hold on. Let me unlike. Yeah. You go back and like for the $100. What you could do? I mean, what you could do $100. You could book you a session with M Green Enterprises. Go in there and start investing. There's a lot of things we could do with $100, but above all things, we want you to be able to invest in yourself, so you're able to move forward. Become the best version of yourself possible.
Yeah, and the question up here, what's the name again? It's the Floor is Yours podcast. It's in the, if you're watching the show, just look up in the info. You'll see the Floor is Yours podcast. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We are on what else?
We're on everything.
Yeah,
and before we do it, I'm going to do an impromptu giveaway. So if you can guess my favorite number between 1 and 100, I will give you a free discovery session right now live. So those who are watching live, guess my favorite number between 1 and 100.
Good
and
luck.
I'm gonna tell him
Good
so
luck.
you can make sure I'm not
I
lying.
already know.
I'll make sure you're right.
So what is the what's the discovery session?
So the discovery session is I work with you to really see what it is that you're trying to do in this season and in this time. So when you feel that you are stuck, when you feel like you are not motivated, when you feel like I continue to hit the same brick walls over and over and over again, you want to make sure it's discovery. And I see how in the world Mr. Ace Boone gonna put a number. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna give y'all 30 more seconds.
So are we doing, they have to guess it, or the one who's the closest to your number?
The one who is closest to my number.
No, you ain't got that one.
Between 1 and 100.
Keep on, get this good discovery session.
Is that too many numbers? Okay, 1 to 10. Revote 1 to 10. My number between 1 and 10. 89. I like that.
So it's a little delayed. So by the time you saying 1 to 10, now they're gonna start coming in. It's about a 15-second lag. There we go.
Okay.
8, 4, 7, 3. Keep them coming. We got a few more numbers that ain't been stated.
Yeah, I'm wait a few more moments.
Man,
Really, Marcellus Mars Carlos. Yes, I did say your name. Twin, get your life together. Your number is not a number. Okay.
Oh, that ain't a one that he threw up.
No, I don't think so. That looked like a middle finger to me.
Okay, so we got every number between. No, we don't.
One.
Okay, no, because I said 1 to 10. So, that is a number one. Okay, well, number one's not the number. So there's actually 2 winners, and I am going to honor that. So it was 4. So Shalonda Goodwater, please shoot me an inbox right now so I can get you together. We'll schedule it tomorrow, but at least I'll have you. And when I get up in the morning, I'll make sure we get scheduled for this week coming up. And then also we have Lola Johnson. So Lola Johnson and Shalonda Goodwater, both of you guys was correct. 4 is my favorite number. If you go on my website, you will see a bunch of 444s. So Flex should have known that as much as I say 444. But anyway, so congratulations to you 2 young ladies. Again, that discovery session is 45 minutes long. Do not book it on my website. Go and come to me, and I'll make sure you get scheduled between now and next week. So we just wanted to say thank y'all, and hopefully that gets us more likes. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share, because we are in the business of educating our people. That is really what it is. So we love y'all. Peace. And we're going to do this outro. Flex.
I'm writing this, try not to cry. You stabilize my environment, inspired when you have my eye. My youth was consumed by vain beauty. Little did I know that vanity could masquerade the unruly. Coolly high love times, we reminisce, paint a vivid picture. Rasta come and lift her. Brethren, I don't want to see another sister get left up, creep by another mister. Patience, no longer taking advantage of your innocence. Genetically superior, I had the vision is. Head ruled up my eye, I'm on my pilgrimage. History richer than the epic of Gilgamesh. We projected our broken worlds, made you a victim. Change the narrative, let us sit at your feet for wisdom. Pride, disrespect, I played my part. Now I apologize, cause deep down it hurt my heart. To the queens lost in the struggle, part of the chain gang. Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland.
Hey, and for the people that don't know, that song is from the very own Furious Styles right here. So, man, dope track, bro. One of my favorites.
Hey, love you, man. Love you, bro.
Man, this was so amazing. Again, Ace Boom, thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us. And to our audience that kicked it with us the entire hour and some change, we know that we're providing content, and sometimes people can tell you that it need to be this amount or that amount, but I feel like we're doing it perfect. So when you go home, we're saving people's lives and we're saving your mind. So thank y'all. We will be back in 2 weeks, y'all. 2 weeks for the Culture Podcast. Again, if you want to be up here and you have something that you are an expert in and you think that our community can benefit, just reach out to us and we'll meet with you and see if it's something that's a good fit, because we really want to make sure that we expand everybody's platform. The only way we can grow is when we grow everybody. So,
like removing toe fungus.
Anyway, y'all take him. I'm adopt a husband, okay? But we love y'all, and make sure you
get that $100.
Yep, like the page for the $100. To the 2 ladies that won tonight, the discovery session. I'm looking forward to meeting with you guys, and this has been fun. So peace and blessings, and y'all take care. See you.